Mary Kay, do you remember the name of one of your favorite elementary school teachers?
Yes.
And their name was?
Mrs. Kilmartin.
Tammy?
Mrs. Murphy, third grade.
Willie?
Mrs. Jolie.
Okay. Teachers should be remembered as heroes for the things that they've taught us, not for saving the lives of their students. On Friday morning, I was at an elementary school in Lee Summit. I've been involved in the dictionary project since it was founded in the late 1990s. The goal of the dictionary project is to give every third grader in the country his own dictionary. So over the last 12 plus years, I've given away thousands and thousands of dictionaries. I gave one to my daughter when she was in third grade, and we packed her up to take her to college. She took this book with her to school. In my presentation, the first thing I ask the kids to do when they get this book is to open it up and write their name right across the front of the book. This is my son's, so that they, drills home the thought that this is their book, it's theirs to keep, it's not their school's. Then we have a fun little moment within the back of the book. There's the longest word in the English language. It's 1,909 characters long. No idea how to pronounce it, what it's used for, or anything like that, but it's just a little tidbit on here's what it is. Now, I've been delivering to the same two elementary schools in Lee Summit for this whole time. One of the schools is a new school. It's only been open for about 3 or 4 years, and that's the one that I went to on Friday. They changed it a little bit this year. When I showed up with the 76 books in 3 boxes, I get to the main front door, and it's locked, and the secretary has to buzz me in. Now I'm sitting in this little air chamber kind of deal where now I come to a second door, and she's got to buzz me into the second door. Then I get in there, I have to show her a photo ID, and she takes my picture with a little webcam and prints out a badge. Then I have to go through another door before I can get to the classrooms. So I go down, I make my presentation to the students, I finish, I take a picture of the class, I go back out to my car, and I do a Facebook posting of the students saying, hey, it was great, I really had a lot of fun. I go, but wow, what a pain in the butt it was to get into that school because security was so tight, and I think they may be going just a bit overboard. An hour later, I was made to look like a real idiot for that posting with what happened in Connecticut. In the last 25 years, we've been attacked one time by foreign terrorists. 9/11, that one day, it was a horrible and terrific day. But that day resulted in the Homeland Security Department. We've spent billions and billions of dollars on that department. We fought 2 wars. We've lost over 5,000 American lives because of those 2 wars, all because of a single act of foreign terrorists. In the last year alone, we've had 4 mass shootings in public places, and we've not done a damn thing about it. Not one thing has been done about those 4 shootings. Now, I listen to some talk radio until it makes me mad, and I can't listen to it anymore. A common theme you seem to hear on there is they all want to bash the Muslim faith. They all want to talk bad about the Muslims, the Middle Easterns. You hear stories about the bombers, the suicide bombers in their 76, 80, whatever the version thing is, when they go in and they blow up a cafe in some small town overseas. But yet we can have a gunman walk into a movie theater in Colorado and shoot up a whole bunch of people, and we don't do anything about it. What is the difference between a suicide bomber and a suicide gunman? Is there any difference? In my mind, we've had 4 terrorist acts go on in this country. We are home-growing our own terrorists. We don't have to worry about them coming in from overseas anymore. We've got a huge, major problem with the youth in this country right now, with the stereotypical, you look at the deal, they're all young, white, lonely, males, and they're 18 to 20 some years old. We've got a major problem. It's time to stop. I listened to President Obama's speech last night. I agreed with most everything he said, except for the end, when he said now is the time for us to talk about gun control. No, that time has passed. It is now time for us to act. It's gone way too far, it's gone way too long. I'm a staunch believer in the Second Amendment. I own weapons myself. I've got a shotgun at home. I don't have a handgun, I just have a shotgun. But you cannot tell me a valid reason why any person needs to own a gun that they can walk into a classroom and shoot 20 people in less than a minute. There is no valid reason for having an assault weapon. We've got a major problem in this country. I don't care what your beliefs are about the Second Amendment and gun control, but now you have to recognize that we have a problem, and now is the time that we have to get it fixed. Thank you.
Time's up. David's ready. David, that was a great speech, really on topic for today's time. You had a key objective that you gave me that you wanted to know, will this speech work outside this club? So I'm going to kind of focus on those. The mechanics of the speech were great. You're out in front. You're obviously passionate about it. And one of the goals of this speech was for you to use an anecdote or a visual, which you had in the book. You had your anecdote with a very clear picture of the situation. Was the topic narrow enough to explain sufficiently in the time allotted? Not really. The topic that you took on was massive, and 6 to 8 minutes isn't really time to do it justice. It's a great opening, and I think for probably a 15 to 30 minute presentation on a political hot topic, you did a great job for the items that were there. One of the things you were also supposed to do was draw on expert opinions while explaining the subject, and you didn't really do that. Although I think with your background and experience, you could almost be one of the experts in the field. With the training and the things that you have and your obvious belief in the Second Amendment and working with the Boy Scouts, you could, with your background and a brief explanation, probably fit the role of an expert within that realm. And the talk was definitely very interesting. I mean, how much more impactful can you get than bringing a topic that came out of the pages, out of the history of this country in just the last few hours? So I would say that overall, yes, this speech would work outside the club. You need to work on it a little bit more, bring in some, I think, additional outside expertise, but also focus on not just the elimination of the guns, but maybe some steps to what types and where would you eliminate, and bring some solutions into the topic that you're presenting, and then it would work outside the group really well. So thank you again. Excellent topic. Appreciate it.
This timer, did all of our evaluators qualify?
Yes, so did